So here we are with Oded Revivi, Mayor of Efrat, here in the beautiful Krumim workspace. Oded, how did you get to Efrat? Why did you choose Efrat? And what was your experience here over the last, 20 odd years, is it?
It's almost 30, Avi. But who is counting when we have so much fun? The truth of the matter is, we were just a newlywed couple. I brought my wife from Manchester, England, to Israel. And we couldn't afford buying a house in Jerusalem, where I was brought up. Efrat was a suburb of Jerusalem. I was a lawyer practicing law in Jerusalem. At that time, it was 15 minutes door to door. Just looked the perfect place to buy an affordable housing. Obviously, today that's not the reality. We know that the demand here is so high that people find it hard to find affordable housing because so many people want to live here and it's become such an attractive city.
So you raised a family. What, you came as a couple to Efrat, and your wife's from Manchester?
So, if you want to ask about my wife, I'll just share with you a family joke that we have. We were once invited for a Friday night meal in London, and the hosts were complimenting my English, and then they asked her, "And where is your English from?" So that's our family joke. I was born and raised in Israel. My wife was born and raised in Manchester. She was very active in Bnei Akiva. She had set her mind making Aliyah way before she met me. And we came to Israel together after I finished my law degree in England. Here we were extremely privileged to raise our six gorgeous kids. The youngest, who is now in high school, all the rest are already older. And I would say that maybe the shaliach that assisted my wife making Aliyah gave me and her the best hint of what does it mean to make Aliyah. And he said to us, you can go through all the experiences, but until your firstborn actually gets recruited into the army, you won't complete your Aliyah process. And I think I would correct him in one thing. Until your firstborn is actually in war, you don't complete your Aliyah process. And the fact that in the last 4 or 5 months we've had 5 of our kids on uniform, that is an experience that a new Ola, even though she's here for 30 years, I had to accompany. I understand what goes in the minds of Olim who haven't gone through the army, and that's why I can affiliate with all these amazing pioneers who've decided to pack up from their homes and move to Efrat and face day-to-day challenges.
There's a lot going on. We have work, there's a war. I mean, local politics, is it really that important? What difference if we vote for you or someone else?
You know, on a regular campaign, I would probably say, maybe you're right. I think the last 5 years have proven day by day how significant it is if your mayor is somebody who comes with experience, has had to make tough decisions, knows the implications of his decisions, and knows what the private individual is going through. People have already forgotten. We had COVID. You live in the Tamar. You know exactly how many people were coming up to Purim. It was the Sudat Purim in the Tamar that made the headlines in all over Israel national news because so many people had to go into quarantine after that. We managed the COVID in Efrat, writing down a policy as to how to tackle it that was copied by the Ministry of Interior for all over the country. These days that we are in war, that there were security threats, I, who has served for over 20 years in the army, whether it was compulsory service or keva or afterwards in reserve duty, I know what it means to protect. I know what safety means. And when you have somebody like that behind the wheel making the decisions, I think everybody in Efrat felt safe. And once in 5 years, you, the residents, have to make the choice. Do you want that responsible, talented person who has proven that he has the ability to carry on, or you want to take a gamble, especially at delicate times like this?
Okay, Oded, you're modest. You've spoken about your great achievements, but you haven't listed a single one. What have you done in the last 15 years?
You know, we're in Kramim. It's an amazing view, and just looking out of the video, out of the window, I could list for you more than five, but you ask for five, I'll give you the first five. Number one, Efrat has grown by 60%. We got those building permits, people don't remember. Once there was a president in the United States called President Obama. He had that title, not one more brick. Yet we in Efrat managed to bring 1,100 new homes that a lot of you viewers are actually living in today, not realizing that those permits were given whilst Obama was in office.
This is Tamar and Dagan.
This is Tamar, Dagan, and even this building that we're sitting in, because that was also part of those 1,100 units.
Okay, so Tamar, Dagan,
And part
a
of
mall,
the Zayt.
a mall, a bank, part of Zayt. But what else?
You're undermining a mall and a bank. The bank has been a dream of the treasurer of the council for over 40 years because the bank pays the highest arnona rates. So there was a real challenge, not just for the service provided for the residents, but actually to provide this decent shopping center that people can come, shop, eat, take money out of the bank, spend it, and that is definitely one of the achievements.
Oded, the summer's coming up. How far do I have to drive to go for a swim?
We're in the Zayt, Avi. There is a swimming pool in the Zayt. The swimming pool in the Zayt is full of water. Please God, by Pesach, you'll be able to do your first dip in the Zayt Sports Center.
Oded, let me say it how it is, okay? A lot of people say it's very hard to get hold of you. How can I get hold of you if I've got an issue?
I'm sure that when people will view your question, they won't even wait for the answer because they can spell it out directly. I'm accessible on all platforms. People send me messages by Facebook. People know my cell phone number. They send me WhatsApps 24/7. Even during Shabbat, there was once I got a WhatsApp about somebody who was worried about something. People can look me up on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on all those platforms. I respond within seconds, getting into trouble with my wife and kids who can't bear the thought that I'm all the time attached to my cell phone. Or maybe if I'm asleep, it will take an hour until I wake up, and then I'll respond immediately.
So accountability, you are accountable to the people.
I'm accountable, I'm accessible. I understand what it means. What Americans know, that they have their constituency, they have their elected official who has to respond and report to them directly. That is the way I've managed Efrat up until now. That's why I have so many contact numbers in my cell phone. That's when usually residents phone me. I already know who is phoning me because it's not their first time, and I keep the numbers in my memory.
Oded, let's get to the point. What's the top 5 things you've achieved in the last 15 years as mayor of Efrat?
So I would think that we all agree that education is definitely one of the top 5 things. We in Efrat have won the Award of Excellency twice in the last decade. That means Efrat is ranked one of the 5 top cities in Israel twice in a decade. We've had the highest achievements in Bagrut throughout the country. Again, one of the top 5. When people come and choose a home, when they want to choose a place to raise their kids, education is the number 1 factor. And I'm not surprised property prices rise here, because when that is the educational system that we have, people want to raise their kids and be educated in these amazing schools that we have in Efrat.
Oded, there's a war going on. After October 7th, everything changed. People are scared. People want to know what you're going to do to change the security situation on the ground, or should I say what you've done until now.
So thank you for correcting your question, because unlike other people who might have fantasies and have dreams of what they want to do, I can really say what we have done. As somebody who has dedicated his life for the safety and building of the State of Israel, both those things were extremely vivid and important for me already on the 7th of October. We didn't wait for any instructions. We multiplied the patrol cars. We recruited volunteers to go out on these patrol cars. We bought guns and weapons and ammunition. We invested in more sophisticated technology to protect the city. We're thinking of even going further and providing some sort of iron dome to protect the city from any attack of drones. We are constantly thinking of how to make sure that the residents of Efrat not only were safe, but also will be safe. And it's somebody who understands in security, understands in management, understands in raising funds for these projects. I can say that we're actually in the process of implying them, and please God, also carry on thinking of more things that we'll bring into the city.
Or that people were scared after October 7th. You know, we saw what happened in some of the kibbutzim down south, workers literally spying on them. Is there going to be any kind of policy change?
Being scared after the brutal attack of the 7th of October is a natural response. As a leader, you need to take yourself above that level and make sure that the policy that is going to be carried out provides the safety and security of each and every resident of the city of Efrat. From the first days, I've been in touch with the heads of all the security forces, basically demanding from them to write down a new policy, a new protocol, something that I can go and show my residents that there has been a change, that they can sleep safely and soundly, and they can go to work knowing that their kids are in the educational system safe and protected. My interest as a father of 6 kids, as somebody who has raised his kids in this city, is that your kids will be just as safe as my kids. I'm not going to take any risks on security. I'm going to stand firmly demanding that we are provided with guarantees that each and every one of you can be assured that they're safe in the city of Efrat.
People want to know about building. What have you built? What will be built? Isn't that what we're here for? To build?
Let me share with you a small secret. My grandfather was a builder. I used to work as a teenager in his building sites. When I became older, I went to study law, specializing in property law. Building, property law is in my veins. When we built Tamar, Dagan, and part of the Zayt, I knew exactly what we're doing. I knew exactly what to make sure that the contractors need to comply with. I knew exactly how to come with the legal demands so what will come out will be so perfect to satisfy the residents of Efrat. But that is not enough, because we know that we have young couples. They get married. They want to live next to their parents. They want them to become grandparents and take their grandchildren to the schools like we see today in the Tamar and the Dagan. That's why I was so excited to receive the phone call from the Prime Minister just last Friday, updating me that he is going to guarantee another 700 units, what we call Mordota Zayt, the hilltops of the Zayt. But between you and me, it's really already the road leading to Deitam. And in Deitam, we're working on plans that will multiply, if not triple, the size of Efrat. When you are a leader with a vision, that you know how to navigate between all the obstacles, all the challenges, you can reach destination. In the last 5 years, we've reached many destinations. We've reached the hilltop of Tamar, we've reached the hilltop of Dagan, we've reached the completion of the Zayt, and now we have our next top. We have to reach the hilltops of Eitam. And last Friday, we started the journey to that. And that will provide more housing for more young couples who can come and live here next to their parents.
Oded, when's the election and who can vote?
Wow, thank you for that question. I think that's probably the most important question in this whole video. The elections are on Sunday, this coming Sunday, the 10th of March. It's very weird. It's Sunday, it's not Tuesday. It starts only at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and will carry on until 10 o'clock at night. The ballots are exactly in the same place where you went to vote just a week and a half ago. So you don't need to navigate to where you're going because you already know the way. The hours are slightly different. It's between 1 o'clock to 10 o'clock. And make sure you bring an extra friend or two, because some people didn't come and vote. And it's important to come and vote and express your opinions. And you know what? Maybe just to show gratitude for what has been done here in the last 5 years. I'm counting on you coming to vote. Regarding the soldiers, they've already started to vote. They know where they vote, and I know from them that they are voting to show their confidence and to show their satisfaction in how they were raised here as youngsters, planning the future to come back and live in Efrat next to their parents.
Oded, you speak clear English. Tell the Olim that have recently arrived in Efrat, can they vote? What are the...
First of all, they can vote as long as they've made Aliyah before October 2023. If they were here beforehand, all they need to do is come with a Tudat Zehut. If they come to the wrong ballot, the people in the ballot will be able to tell them which ballot they need to go to. It's very easy, very simple. And if they don't know why to vote for me, just look me up on Facebook, send me a private message. I'll get back to you and I will convince you that for an Oleh, it is extremely important to vote for somebody not only that speaks English, but also can understand what is actually being asked, or maybe even not being asked, but just the challenges that a new Oleh goes through in this magnificent Holy Land, but in one that we speak Hebrew.
Thank you very much.